Beautiful friend, on February 1st, we're going to have a dramatic full moon in the passionate, super creative, shine your light bright fire sign of Leo. During this full moon, we will have entered the eclipse portal of new timelines, quantum leaps, and unexpected change. This full moon is not an eclipse, but it is the last lunation before our first eclipse, which happens just 2.5 weeks later in the opposite sign of Aquarius. And eclipses are turning point energies. They often bring unexpected wildcard energy. They can bring wake-up calls that then become catalysts for significant change in our lives. So I'll have much more to share with you in my video on this eclipse. But know that we can feel eclipses up to 6 weeks before and 6 weeks after the actual lunation. And during this Leo full moon, you could get an illumination or a truth reveal or something that comes up in a relationship that shows you that you or maybe the other person are meant to go in a new direction. So in this Leo full moon video, I'm excited to share with you who will most feel the energies of this full moon, the themes that you can expect to experience, and the aspects which give us clues as to what we might experience, and how you can work with these energies with the most ease and grace. And then in part 2, I will be doing your 12 sign readings, letting you know in which house of your natal astrology chart and area of your life, based on your rising sign, you are likely to feel this Leo full moon. And as always, I will pull an oracle card for each of the 12 signs as well. If we have not yet met, I want to say welcome. I am so glad that you are here, that you found this channel. It's my intention that we create a like-minded community. So if you are highly sensitive, you're empathic, or you're on a spiritual journey, or you just love astrology, take a moment to tap the subscribe button so we stay connected and you don't miss a video. Welcome back to those of you who have been watching my videos. Since this is the Leo full moon and Leo is known for loyalty and generosity, thank you to those of you who have expressed this through your subscribes. It means the world to me. And if we're just now meeting, I'm Betsy. I'm a psychic astrologer, intuitive life coach, and I am passionate and dedicated to meeting you on Zoom for one-on-one live astrology readings. If you could use more support, especially now that we are in the eclipse season portal, stay tuned till the end. I will tell you more about my astrology consultations as well as my coaching. And I have a free gift for you. Stay tuned till the end to find out how you can get it. And if you'd like to receive my weekly inspirational astrology updates, you can go to my website and subscribe to those for free and get your free instant download gift at the same time. Now, we are all familiar with the gorgeous light of a full moon. And as we say, as above, so below, as without, so within. So during a full moon, that gorgeous bright light often illuminates something within our consciousness. This is why we say full moons can reveal a truth. We can see something or understand something in a way that we haven't before, and often this brings an emotional release. As we go from a new moon to the buildup of a full moon, we can also have had situations, events, or conversations in our relationships that have been building up, emotionally accumulating and bringing us to a point of closure, something ending, something leaving, or sometimes it's something manifesting. Sometimes it's the fruits of your labor coming to fruition. And during all full moons, the sun and the moon are opposite each other on the zodiac wheel. So during a Leo full moon, the moon, of course, will be in Leo and the sun will be in Aquarius. And we can say that they represent the masculine and feminine energies within all of us, regardless of how you identify. But also the sun and the moon can represent you and another person, interacting, conversing, coming to some understanding, perhaps, within a relationship. Now, the moon in Leo, a fire sign, represents the part of you that wants to fully come out and express authentically. The part of you, whether you're conscious of it or not, that wants to be seen, wants to be understood, wants to be celebrated even. In contrast to this is the sun in Aquarius on the other side, and Aquarius is connected to the collective. It's connected to the community or the group, what's best for everyone. It's air energy, which is conversational. And it's connected to the stars, the galaxies, the cosmic intelligence, bringing those divine downloads down through your crown, through the throat, into the heart, Leo energy. which helps us understand what does my heart most want and how am I being supported or not supported by those around me, but also by the divine realms. What changes do I need to make, if any, to feel more supported, to work with those I care about and love? Are those relationships reciprocal? And can I tap more deeply or more regularly into the cosmic realms, especially during an eclipse portal time where the veil is thin between the worlds? Knowing that each and every one of us do have that direct line to the divine, are we using that? Are we open to receiving those messages? And everything I just shared with you, I wasn't even planning on sharing. And I always trust what comes through. What I love about Leo energy is that it is ruled by the sun. The sun is our life force. And this is why Leo energy, and we all have Leo somewhere in our astrology chart, whether you have planets or points there or not. Wherever you have this in your chart, my friend, this is where you can make an impact. This is where you might have more of a propensity to light up a room, as we say. To let your exuberant, free-spirited inner child out more often, to express more freely, or to follow your own heart more often. If there was ever a full moon in which we are meant to really connect with what our heart most wants, it is this Leo full moon that is intimately connected to heart-based directions. Your soul calling you in a new inspired direction, perhaps. And especially because this full moon is happening just after Neptune, the planet that defines eras. Neptune rules your vision, your heart's desire, your soul's longing. Neptune entering Aries to stay until 2039, and this happens just a few days before this full moon. Neptune rules your vision, your heart's desire, your soul's longing. Leo is also connected to leadership. And of course, there are lots of ways that we can be a leader within our own lives, within our families, with our children, in our workplaces, any role that we take on. But this can also be heads of state, royal figures, people in political office, and also celebrities. A lot of celebrities have Leo energy in their chart. Of course, most of us know that Leo is known as the king or queen of the jungle, letting us know that it is in charge with its mighty roar. But wherever you have Leo, my friend, in your astrology chart, this could also be where in the past, or perhaps even now, you have or are dimming your light in order to fit in order to be liked by others. Because often where we have Leo in our charts is where we felt unseen by parents, teachers, or caregivers, where we didn't receive that mirroring or that feedback when we accomplished something. That's why I like to call it the look ma, no hands. Like, look, I'm doing it. I'm riding my bike, no hands. And of course, all the signs have what we call a high expression and a lower expression. And I don't like to use those words high and low because really they're ego-based words. But let's say maybe a more joyful expression of Leo and maybe one that comes more from lack. And for Leo, that can often be where we seek validation from others. No matter how hard we work, no matter how much effort we put in, if others aren't giving us the positive feedback, we can feel deflated. We can feel like, what did I do all that for? What was the point? Or rather than being fiercely loyal, which is what Leo is known for, rather than having the back of those that we are closest to, because we want everyone to like us, we can be the opposite. We can toe the line. So because we all have Leo energy somewhere in our natal astrology chart, any of the things that I just shared, you could have experienced in that area of your life. How can we contribute to this more joyful expression of Leo energy? By fiercely loving the child inside of us. I call it Leo energy, inner child delight. By giving yourself an atta-girl or an atta-boy anytime that you accomplish something that you're proud of. By being warm, generous, and engaging to that sweet child part of you. And who cares if people think that you're too dramatic? Who cares if people accuse you of showing off just because you are being your naturally exuberant self? I believe that what the world needs more of is heart-based energy, more joy, more exuberance, more saying yes to your beautiful heart. So I want to share with you the aspects to this full moon that are going to give us clues as to the story that may play out in our own lives and or collectively. But before I do that, I want to share who will most feel this Leo full moon. It's happening at 13 degrees. So those of you who have planets or points between 9 and 17 degrees of Leo or the other fixed signs, Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus, you will feel this full moon most personally, most intensely. And yes, that means it could be very uncomfortable. I want to acknowledge that our human selves are wired for pleasure. We naturally go toward pleasure and avoid pain. And so if we find out that a full moon is making a challenging aspect to a planet or point, of course there's a part of us that may contract from that may go into fear. But what I love about astrology is that it can prepare us for that, and we can then ask ourselves, what am I afraid of? What is my worst fear of what might happen? We can process the fear, we can move through the feelings of it. We can even reach out for support, but we can also be the observer and step back and say, there's that human part of me that's really afraid of X, Y, or Z happening. We can talk to that part of ourselves and say, I'm here for you. I get it. I see why you're a little bit rattled or afraid by what might happen. But also look at all the things that we've moved through up until this point in our life that were hard. And remember how that was an opening for us to move on to something that was more of a match for our energy. And most of you watching have evolved tremendously, probably over the past year, if not over the past 5 years, 10 years, even the whole era of Neptune and Pisces. Think about where you were 15 years ago and where you are now and what you've come through. On a soul evolutionary level, we cannot stay in the same everything in our life and be fully engaged on a soul level, which is why our souls brought us here in the first place, to expand and grow as spiritual beings having a human adventure. And yeah, in the moment when something unexpected happens that triggers anger or sadness or frustration or any emotion that doesn't feel good, of course, we are not consciously ordering that off the menu. So I just wanted to take a moment to say that. And some of you are going to get wonderful aspects, trines and sextiles to a planet or point in your natal astrology chart. And some of you are going to get a mix of both. And of course, this is something that I can always illuminate for you in an astrology consultation. Okay, so let's talk about the aspects. And when I say aspects, I mean the planetary conversations that are going on, either talking to the full moon or talking to other planets during the full moon. Now, across from the moon in Leo, we are going to have 5 different planets or luminaries in Aquarius that very much give us a sense of the tone of this full moon. If the full moon itself in Leo highlights your personal power, your mojo, your strength, your creativity, the joy of shining your light, and also people in power, celebrities, heads of state, and so on, if that's Leo energy, Aquarius highlights power to and of the people, the individual people gathering together, such as during demonstrations, protests, or even gatherings in parks and airports and public places. That's Aquarius energy too. And because we have so much energy in Aquarius, the news, the headlines could be that much more dramatic. With the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Mars all in Aquarius, strong Aquarian themes such as the humanitarian, humanity, human rights, global equality, communities, and what is best for everyone. Also freedom, independence, rebellion, revolutionary action, and of course technology and AI. All of these could be themes that come out either in the collective or within your own personal life or both during this full moon. The most intense aspect is Pluto and Mars, both in Aquarius, making what we call a conjunction. And in this case, they're within 4 degrees of each other. At the most ego-based expression, Pluto and Mars are aggression, conflict, power struggles, war, and potentially other forms of violence. But we also want to remember that when 2 planets are in conjunction with one another, in their highest expression, they can be on the same page. They can actually be working together. And this, for example, could be a passionate attraction or a passionate relationship in which maybe you have an argument, but then you have a deep, truthful, soulful conversation or lovemaking, and that brings you that much closer together. That would be the higher expression. But also in Aquarius energy, Pluto is connected to wealth, the financial markets, and Mars is not just mojo and motivation, it's also action or force. Now, while these planets will be 4 degrees apart during the full moon, a few days earlier on the 27th of January, they will be exactly conjunct. And this is when I think a lot of us are actually going to feel this full moon earlier, because remember, during a full moon, the energy is building. And this is why a lot of us often feel full moons before they actually happen. Leave me a comment. Let me know if that's true for you. I often feel them 1 to 3 days before. You could even feel it up to a week before. But I think a lot of people, and I think collectively, I would be very surprised if we don't have something occur around the 27th of the month when Pluto and Mars are conjunct. Not only this, the moon will also be in Taurus, conjunct Uranus, the great awakener, the planet of shocks and chaos and unexpected discombobulating moments. The moon will be exactly conjunct Uranus on the 27th as well. And given that on that day we are building toward a Leo full moon, and Leo is known for its dramatic intensity, that could just add more fuel to the fire. And on the full moon itself, the moon will be opposing Mars, which could bring up your own subconscious fears or excitement about your own inner Mars. What does my heart most want? What do I want to do? What action do I want to take, or do I feel like I need to take? Or it could cause an argument. Now, what I love about this full moon is that Mercury and Venus are going to be conjunct. That means Mercury and Venus, both in Aquarius, could actually be having a positive conversation that is coming from a loving place, or they could be having a difficult conversation about a relationship or finances or themes of beauty and pleasure and the Venusian things of life. Our preference is what brings us comfort. These could be involved as well. Now, because it's Mercury and that is communication, headlines, news, emails, our own thinking, and Venus is connected to money and finances. People who do hold political office could be more likely to communicate. Tweets seem to be a way that a lot of leaders communicate these days. There could be more of this going on around this full moon, especially regarding financial themes such as tariffs, such as the much talked about potential perceived AI bubble, or any communications that are connected to the financial markets. But as someone who follows the stock market, I have certainly seen, and if you follow it, I'm sure you've seen this pattern as well, my friend, that it has been very volatile since Uranus has been in Taurus. And over the past year, anytime that our US president says anything that the markets don't like, the stock market has gone down. Or Mercury and Venus, somebody could be proposing, you could be proposing, and your loved one could be proposing to you. You could be solidifying a commitment, professing true love to one another. These aspects can play out either way. Mercury and Venus in Aquarius are making a wide square. It's a wide square to Uranus and Taurus, so this potentially could add to the unpredictability around Taurus themes. And this also includes extreme weather patterns, flooding, earthquakes, fires, and so on. Technology is a strong theme during this full moon, the power grid, anything electrical. I strongly encourage all of us not to take unnecessary risks with anything to do with heavy machinery or anything that you plug in. Be extra careful when using anything that has a motor or electricity or involves fire, anything that you can't control. Now, lastly, I mentioned a bit ago in this video that Neptune, the planet that defines eras, on January 26th, just a few days before this full moon, it will finally leave Pisces for good and re-enter Aries to stay for the next 14 years until 2039. And this is a very big deal, especially as Neptune and Saturn will be meeting up on February 20th and making an exact conjunction. I have a separate video for you on Neptune and Saturn in Aries and the conjunction and what you can expect. And I will link to that at the end of this video. But the fact that that Neptune ingress is happening so close to this full moon, and this is Leo energy, this is our heart's desire. This full moon is meant to ignite the inner child within you. And so often, as adults, we suppress that passionate inner child energy. We suppress those little whispers of our heart that say, maybe I could do this. What if I did that? I wonder what my life would be like if I experienced this. We so often suppress that without even knowing often that we're suppressing it. And I believe that this ingress of Neptune into Aries is a call to each and every one of us to open up during this full moon to what is calling us now, because this is a heart's true calling full moon, but also a hero's journey. Where's my soul guiding me next? Neptune in Aries transit. And for those of you who are in transition and you don't know what you want next, this is what my book is about, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. Truthfully, I do not make any money from my books, but I want to share what I have created for you to support you based on everything that I went through in lots of different life transitions. And when we can give back to others what we have learned, well, that lights up my soul. So I always link it in the description box below. Check it out if that calls to you. So I want to do your 12 sign readings, but I want to close this part one with a quote that is often attributed to Nelson Mandela, but it actually came from Marianne Williamson. I think it is so appropriate for this Leo full moon, and it is, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be?" Okay, my friend, let us do your 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This is the area of your natal chart that corresponds to the areas of your life in which you are likely to feel this full moon. Also, listen to your moon and sun signs, because they will illuminate more themes and intuitive messages that may very well be relevant for you. And we're going to start with Leo, because beautiful Leo, this is your full moon. Leo, you are experiencing this in your first house, which connects to any roles that you play in your life. And when I say roles that you play, I mean your titles, what you call yourself at work if you have a job, what you call yourself if you are a business owner, the roles that we have in our relationships with family members, with significant others, with business partners. All of these roles come up for sometimes renegotiation, sometimes important conversations. Sometimes there could be a decision that's being made within a relationship that's quite important, and it could have to do with the longevity of your partnership as well. Also, in this first house is your identity. The first house is really about you, Leo. It's about, what does my heart want? How am I feeling about this relationship? How am I feeling about this new idea or new excitement that I'm having to go do this, that, or the other thing? It could be moving. Why? Because when you have a full moon in the first house, it can affect any area of your life. It's on an angle of your chart. It can affect your relationships. It can affect your career or your profession or your vocation or your passion, and it can also affect your home and family life. In addition, because it's a full moon, the moon is in the first house, but the sun is in your seventh house, and they are talking to each other. It's an opposition, like I share in part one. And if you haven't watched part one, I highly encourage you to do so that you don't miss how to work with the energies of this full moon. It's always in part one of my videos. Something could come up in a relationship for you during this full moon because the sun is there talking to the moon, across from the moon. And for every full moon, they are really on an axis of those two polarities of a chart. Even though it's happening in your first house, it can be just as active. It can bring just as much up in your relationships, whether they are romantic or best friendships or business partnerships. So you could feel, Leo, that something is coming to culmination. You could be manifesting something. Someone could be proposing to you. You could be proposing to them. You could be proposing something. You could be proposing, let's do this. Let's start a business together, or let's go on a trip. Let's go out and both buy a new wardrobe. I only bring up that example because the first house rules your physical, your self-image and the image that you want to portray to others. I'm getting, for some of you, this is just an intuitive thing that's coming through. Some of you want to travel. Some of you want to go on a trip. This has nothing to do with the first or seventh house, but it's something that I am receiving, and more in my videos I'm going to share. I always share what comes through, but when it comes to the houses, I tend to stick to the themes of the houses, but more and more I'm going to be sharing whatever comes through, because this is the new era. We are going into a new era with Neptune going into Aries, and then Saturn following suit. And Aries says, be in this present moment, share your inspiration, say yes to whatever is lighting you up. Don't hold back. That's Aries energy. So I have Aries in my 10th house of career. I have Mars in Aries, and I am going to be working this energy, sharing this energy, I should say, more than working. I'm going to be sharing this energy more and more. Okay, so Leo, let us pull a card for you now and see what the cards have to say for you. Is there something shifting for you in your sense of identity? When I say identity, it's I am. You fill in the blank. You meet someone for the first time and they say, tell me about yourself. And you say, I am. What would you say? Some of you are leaving a job and starting to have your own business. Some people are having a shift in an important relationship. Others of you could be experiencing something in your health or your vitality. Pay attention to it whenever we have a full moon, especially in the first house. We really want to pay attention. Of course, we always want to pay attention to anything to do with our health, but especially when we have a full moon, and if that full moon is close to a point in our chart, a degree point in our chart, and I do not want anyone to be scared by that. Just because this full moon is very close to a planet or point in your first house does not mean that you are going to have a health issue illuminated by any means. But it's always a good idea, of course, to have that checked out. And of course, I am not a medical professional, just speaking about the themes of the astrology. Okay, so Leo, let us see what the cards have to say. And what your card is, beautiful Leo, and it is answering the call. The time is now. This is a call of your soul, full moon. No wonder I got the intuitive hit when I was recording part 1 of this video to share with you my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. This person is walking out the door. They are going through a portal. We are in the eclipse portal now, meaning we are in the energy of where is your soul now in terms of consciousness? What have you graduated from? A full moon can be a moment of soul level graduation. What are you moving on from? Some of you are departing. Some of you are departing where you live. Some of you are departing where you've been working. You are departing time in a relationship. You are departing, some of you are departing something. The time is now. If you want to claim the call of your soul in the comments below or share anything else, beautiful Leo, I would love to hear. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer family, I have my moon and rising in Cancer. And this full moon for you is going to be falling in your second house of earned income. This is a financial house. It also includes your sense of deserving. Do I deserve what I want to make in terms of income, for example? Do I deserve whatever it is? This is the house of material security. So self-love, self-worth, your values. What are my values now? And do the choices that I'm making, the decisions that I'm making, are they a match for my current values? That's self-reflection that might be really helpful for you during this full moon. Now we also have, because this is a full moon, we also have the sun across from the moon in the 8th house. So that brings in both houses. The themes of both houses, either one or both, could come up for you during this full moon. The 8th house is the house of emotional attachments, power and control, often the things that we don't want to let go of because we can feel dependent on them. Our soul doesn't have that dependency, but often our human self has it. And that can show up within a relationship, within people that we spend the most time with. It can be within a partnership, whether it's business or romantic, but it can also be within, close relationships, family, friends, and so on, where you have a very tight bond or a tight attachment. It can be a dependency. It can bring up themes of codependency. Absolutely. And the 8th house is death and rebirth and transformation. So this could be a transformational full moon for you if any of those things that I just shared ring any bells for you. Also financial. So financial on both the 2nd and the 8th house, of course. This is shared resources, money from others, whether it is a partnership, whether you are splitting up, you could be splitting up assets or selling a home or thinking about like shared retirement funds, for example. And so if you are in a relationship transition, that could be something that comes up for you during this full moon. And if you aren't, it could be your own decisions or plans about savings or about retirement funds or any investing that you do. And like I spoke about in part 1 of this video, I think this is going to be at least the lead up to this full moon, if not the exact full moon. And I give the dates in part 1, could be quite a volatile time in the financial markets. So that could be on your mind too if you are really counting on money that you have invested and you are concerned about that volatility. So I'm not a financial planner at all. I do not give financial advice, just sharing with you the themes of the astrology. Some of you could be doing your taxes. That's an 8th house theme as well, or paying off a debt, or looking at ways to increase your income, applying for a job, asking for promotion, thinking about doing a side gig, just thinking about your finances, and or working on your own sense of self-love, self-worth, and deserving during this full moon. So beautiful Cancer. I'm just getting my voice back slowly but surely. I am going to pull a card for you now, and let us see what the cards have to say for Cancers. Okay, Cancer. Your card is lie back, rest, and relax. Watching clouds. Have you been relaxing enough lately? This card is saying it is time when we allow ourselves relaxation, which can be so hard for the cardinal signs, right? The cardinal signs are go-getters. I'm laughing at myself now because everything is coming out as a song. But when we are working hard, and we've had so much energy in Capricorn. So we have, and I know myself the last couple of weeks, now we've got all these planets in Aquarius, so the energy is shifting, but you could have felt, Cancer, like you are just really nose to the grindstone since the beginning of this year. Well, now this is saying to relax, and it's reminding me of how when we relax our energy, we stop resisting the flow of life. When we are tense, when we are tight, when we are not relaxing, we can keep prosperity, abundance, money, gifts, we can keep them from coming in. So now I'm getting a sense, I think, of what this message is about, because these are financial themes, the 2nd and 8th house. Allow yourself to relax and receive. I think this card's about receiving. So for some of you, you just need a rest. For others of you, maybe as you are resting, saying to yourself, saying to the divine, talking to every cell of your body, because the body is always listening. I am open to receiving. If you want to claim receiving and or abundance or anything else in the comments, beautiful Cancer, I would love to hear. Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. I have my sun in Gemini. And those of you who are Gemini risings are going to be experiencing this full moon in your 3rd house. Regardless of whether it's your rising sun or moon, these themes may very well come up for you. And that is communication, your mindset, your inner narrative. Big picture, how are you thinking about your life right now? How are you thinking about what you have or don't have? How are you thinking about what your heart most wants? This is Leo energy after all. Leo says, what are you passionate about? What lights you up? Watch part 1 of this video if you haven't yet, because I go into the themes in more depth and I share some channeled messages as well and how you can best work with this full moon. But if you are starting a website, or you have a website and you want to improve it, you want to fine tune it, you want to update it, that could be happening for you. If you really want to write, if you want to write stories, or you want to write a blog, or you want to write articles, whatever it is, that is also a theme of this third house: teaching and learning, networking, meetups, anything local. This is the house of your local hood. Some of you may be looking at, what location do I want to be in? Am I happy in this location? A full moon is often closure. It's culmination. Some of you could be moving from a location, whether it's a location of your home or a business, or just where you've been frequenting. Maybe you've been going to a coffee house that you're like, I don't want to work in this coffee house anymore. If you've been doing that. Work as in like bringing your laptop there. I do that quite a bit with my laptop, just to be, Gemini, leave me a comment. Tell me if you relate to this. What I experience as a Gemini sun is that sometimes I just need to be in the energy of others, even if I'm just working, but it's that stimulation. Geminis often need some stimulation, or just to feel like they are not completely alone, because Gemini is a social sign. And even if you're not being social, maybe the social aspect is just ordering your coffee. But you get the idea. Some of you may be changing a place that you have gone to. Maybe it's a place that you've worked out. Maybe it's a place where you've studied. Maybe you are graduating from a degree program, for example. I also say that because, well, let me finish with the themes of this house first, and then I'll tell you what I was going to say. If you are having something going on in a relationship, which full moons are often about, it could be a relationship with a sibling, a neighbor, an aunt, uncle, or cousin, or someone like a mortgage broker, somebody that is significant in your life in some way. I just got a call. It was the sweetest thing ever. I just got a phone message. I'm going to call them back tomorrow, from a neighbor who, the street that I lived on for 7 years in Laguna Beach before I moved, and I just got a call saying, I was just thinking about you and I just wanted to say hi. I mean, that is so this full moon. Be a neighbor from the past. It could be a current neighbor. It could be a sibling-like relationship, a best friend where they feel more like a sister or a brother to you. Or a device that you have. It could be, I'm sorry to say, it could be time for a new device. Same with your vehicle. Same with any electronic device that you own. Now, what I was going to say is that because it's a full moon, it's happening really in two houses. The moon is in the third house, but the sun is in the ninth house. Full moons are always on an axis. They are always oppositions. The energies of both are always talking to each other during a full moon, and the sun will be in your ninth house. And that's why I said you could be graduating from a degree program, or you could be starting or finishing a project that involves podcasting, broadcasting, teaching, publishing. Or you could be getting, like making a new plan to publish something in the future, because full moons, even though they are often about endings and closures, they can be us ending something so that we're creating space to open up something new. Big picture, the ninth house is expansion, it's spiritual beliefs, it's awakening, and it is also connected to seeking justice. It could be a karmic closure or a karmic ending, the scales, justice. Or maybe you are meeting with an attorney, or you're closing out something that involved interaction with a lawyer or someone in the law. So beautiful gem. Let me pull a card for you. And if I didn't say it already, it can also be a manifestation. It's not always something ending or leaving or closing out, but oftentimes it is. But sometimes it is something, the fruits of our labor coming to fruition. And it can be a relationship too, with it, was started, and then you have on the full moon, you go out to dinner and you or they profess true love, and then you're off and running. So a lot of different possibilities, but let us see what the cards have to say for you. Beautiful gem. Gemini. Your card is, through gratitude, joy expands, grace and gratitude. So to me, this is always, unless you have a regular daily gratitude practice, which I know a lot of you have, but if you don't, you might want to start one. because we all know, right? If you've been on a spiritual path, if you've been reading spiritual books and all of that for some time now, most of us are very well aware of how gratitude does expand abundance, but do we remember? And that's why gratitude practice is so helpful. So some of you might want to start that. She is just grateful for these beautiful colors. She is grateful, it seems to me, that she is able to stand in a park and be in nature and breathe in fresh air. The very basics of life sometimes can be the things that make us realize how abundant we actually are. Abundant, naturally abundant. And if you want to start a new practice, shifting your thinking, the third house, our thinking, right? Through gratitude, joy expands in your life. Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, you're going to experience this full moon in Leo in your fourth house. The fourth house is the house of our roots, belonging. It's connected to the mother line. It is home and family. It is also your inner child healing, if you do that, and it is childhood conditioning. So the fourth house is the most personal house in our chart. It is where we are meant to put down roots. It is where we seek safety and security. And during this full moon, those themes could come up for you. A full moon is often a culmination, a closure, an ending, or something manifesting. So some of you could be moving, or you could have just moved, or you could be, walking into your new home. You could be experiencing the joy of that, even building a new home and walking into that and or decorating or something that has to do with you feeling more at home, more rooted, more in your own sanctuary. And that would be so beautiful. Now, I also have to say that some of you could be realizing that you need to move. You could be having a catalytic moment, especially as we are in the eclipse portal, that is showing you that something within your family has to shift. And that can be very difficult and challenging. I want to acknowledge that someone in your home could be moving out, or you could be moving out, or you could just be having some illumination or realization that you are not meant to be where you are any longer. Or because the sun is in the 10th house and this full moon is happening on the 4th and 10th house axis, opposite each other, the sun and the moon, you could be having some shift or realization or truth come to light in 10th house areas, which is career, legacy, retirement, semi-retirement, your life purpose expressed, your passion, a vocation, or just how you spend your time if you don't have a career. So it can happen in either house. When we have a full moon, you can have manifestations or closure either way. So beautiful Taurus, let us pull a card for you now and see what the cards have to say. And definitely with this full moon on this axis of the 10th and 4th house, especially if it's an angle of your chart that's being activated, then that can also have make activations to your 1st and 7th house. So you could then end up feeling this inner relationship, or within your own sense of identity. A role could change, a title could change. You could be leaving a job. You could be leaving a relationship. You could be shifting something within career, retiring, for example, starting your own business. You get the idea. So Taurus, if anything that I mentioned resonates for you, like if it's going on for you, leave me a comment if you would. I love to hear, and let me pull a card for you now. Beautiful Taurus, your card is unknown territory. You are exactly where you need to be. There's movement. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised, because this is the most personal place in your chart where you're having this full moon in your 4th house. And it's an angle of the chart. And this is, we feel lunations, new or full moons, much more intensely when they are on an angle of our chart. Plus, the full moon is squaring your energy, and squares get us into action. They get us into movement. And you can see in this card that this person is traveling. They're traveling. They have their traveling clothes on. There's an owl there. An owl could be a totem for you. The owl is flying above sending a message to this person. The bird may be giving this person a message. They've got their walking stick. It reminds me of the Fool in the Tarot, which is connected to Aries energy, which is very much up around this full moon time, with Neptune having just gone into Aries. I have a separate video for you on that shift of Neptune going into Aries, along with the conjunction in February. And I talked about it a little bit in part 1 of this video. So, you know, those resources are there for you if you're interested. But this says, even though you're going into unknown territory, or you are in unknown territory right now, Taurus, you are exactly where you're meant to be. So I think we should take in a breath. This is me. I mean, I know I'm being a little bossy, but I want to invite you right now. I'm inviting myself and you right now. Together, we are having a moment of taking in a breath and releasing it, and reminding ourselves, reminding that inner child inside of us that he or she is safe. 4th house, we want safety and security. I am safe. I am secure. My sweet inner child within me, I'm telling you, you are safe. We are exactly where we are meant to be. If this was helpful to you, beautiful Taurus, or anything else that you want to share, let me know in the comments. And I'm wishing you a beautiful Leo full moon. Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, how are you feeling about Neptune moving into your sign on January 26th, just a few days before this full moon, and Saturn joining Neptune in February, them both coming together February 20th. It's such a big time for you. I have a separate video for you on that transition, the new era. So I wanted to mention it to you because a lot of the readings I've been doing lately have been with people with strong Aries, and especially in the first few degrees of Aries. So I know it is a really big deal for Aries people, especially if you are being activated early on in this transit. Now, this full moon in Leo for you is happening in the 5th house. The 5th house is, for me, one of the best houses. And when I mean that, there's no best house, of course. What I'm trying to say when I say that is that it can be the most feel-good lunation that we have when the full moon is here. Now, it does rule love, romance, children, creative expression, free, unbridled authenticity. And I want to acknowledge that, yes, of course, it's a full moon. Full moons do often bring in relationships and their conversations, and it could be a relationship breaking up. So I have to acknowledge that. Of course, it could be something that's leaving your life, and that would be painful. That would be difficult to move through. So I get it. Not all 5th house energy or things that happen within the 5th house are joyful, but it is the house of joy, and it is the house of love, and it is the house of, you know, it can bring quite loving interactions. It could bring Leo energy is very romantic. It's very romantic, and it's known for grand gestures. And that's why I say that this could be a moon in which someone proposes, or somebody professes their love, or you do that. But also, it's a moon in which you could feel really creatively fired up, and you are vowing to yourself, perhaps, to begin to work on a project that you've been wanting to work on for some time, or shift something in your life so that you can express your creativity more, or maybe to have more fun, or maybe to have more delight, or maybe you're making a decision around this full moon that it's time to take an adventure, or it's time to free yourself in some way. This full moon is happening on the axis of 2 houses, the 5th and the 11th house. The 5th house is where the moon is. The sun is in your 11th house, and that is supporters, friendships. So something to do with a friendship can be part of what happens during this full moon for you. It's also where we are putting something out into the world in terms of a message or branding or promoting something through social media. It's also connected to long-term financial gains. And you could be asking, where in the world do I want to be? The world is your oyster. That's the 11th house. You could be making a decision about a dream, a current dream, what will fulfill you now, Aries, which is really appropriate for you to be asking what would fulfill me now if you are in transition and with this new era beginning of Neptune in your sign. Very appropriate. There are many of you, some of you I've spoken to through readings, that know that something is over, or you've been working on ending something, and that is not easy. But that is opening a door for your next adventure, Aries. And I know you love a good adventure. I have Mars in Aries. Aries people love a good adventure. You are meant to rise to the occasion. You are meant to do something that you think you cannot do, or that you don't know if you can do it. That's Aries energy. That's part of the Aries signature in astrology. Let's pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. And also this could involve a child, because children are here too. So it could be something that's happening with a child, something that a child is doing, your interactions with a child. Okay, so Aries, your card. Your card is, it is so fifth house. Wait till you see this. Joy and delight, the child. I mean, this is the card in this deck that is the fifth house. I love it when these synchronicities happen. It says, open your heart to joy. Open your heart to joy. Aries, do you remember when you were a little girl or a little boy? Do you remember when you put a costume on? Do you remember when you had that magic wand or magic whatever, implement, whatever it was, and you let yourself be that free, fantasizing, just enjoying an alter ego, what we did as kids all the time? This card is saying, let yourself do that again. Do something that would be joyful and delightful to you for no reason except to be in that energy. And that energy, that is when we also can attract what our heart most wants and what we have lined up for us in the vortex, so to speak. If you want to claim your joy and delight in the comments, I would love to hear. Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, you are going to experience this Leo full moon in your 6th house of daily work. This is your habits. This is wellness on all levels, how you feel in your body, how you feed your body with nutrition or exercise, your lifestyle, your pets. Are you happy at work? What is your work situation like? If you have a job, if you go to work, or if you work at home, is anything changing there? This is the house of how you use and manage your energy. And is your body expressing health, optimal wellness, all of those things that most of us want? Or do you need some sort of fine-tuning or course correction? That is often how a full moon manifests. Pets also are in this house, so something could be happening with a pet. And because this full moon is across the way from the 12th house and the sun is in the 12th house, it really is a full moon happening on the 6th and 12th house axis. And that means that other themes that could be coming up for you are reprogramming your subconscious mind, all of the interesting things that can happen when we are connected to the ethereal realms, especially right now when we're in this eclipse portal, which means that the veil is thin between the worlds. We feel it even more. We are often going from one consciousness to another. We are poised to have something happen that can awaken us or let us know that we have to let go of something, or we are ready to move on to something else. So we're all in that portal right now. And because it's a 6th and 12th house axis, you could be feeling this full moon on a very deep spiritual level, or on a very everyday things that you do at work, the people you work with, your habits, and all of that kind of level. It could be happening in either or. You could be having deep, intense dreams. You can have those otherworldly experiences that so many of us love, like astral travel, or, having a dream that feels like a message from the divine or from your angels, more magic and synchronicities happening, more signs, divine downloads, angelic visitations. You could be feeling your clairs open up, more psychic awareness. You get the idea. So beautiful Pisces. And Pisces, you are so psychically attuned. You are so connected to the other realms. Do you have a daily spiritual practice? I'm being drawn to ask you that question. Even when you have this innate ability to travel through your imagination and receive messages from the divine if we don't have a regular spiritual practice like journaling or breath work or, so many different ways that we all do this. But if we don't, we often can lose touch with that. So if that's the case, I always like to mention when there are 12th house lunations that you might want to download my free guided meditation that is on my website when you sign up for my weekly updates. And my weekly updates are just you getting my articles on the astrology of the week. So they are a gift as well. And then you also get my free download gift of a guided meditation with that. So Pisces, let's see what the cards have to say for you. Then we shall see. Pisces. Your card is... Okay, one or two cards. For whatever reason, I was having trouble getting a hold of it, so I'm turning it over now, and it says, you are strong beyond measure, stepping into power, Pisces. There's a call to step into your power. This person is traveling. They have a light. It looks like there's an image of another person behind them. You could feel like somebody is on your heels, so to speak. You could feel like somebody is, you're dealing with somebody, as we say right now. This is a call to stand your ground, to reclaim your power, to realize your strength. Strength is a key word for Leo energy. And as you do so, you are going to walk that much more into the light. Beautiful Pisces, if you want to claim this in the comments below and share, I would love to hear. Wishing you a beautiful Leo full moon. Aquarius, Aquarius. Beautiful Aquarius. You are going to be experiencing this Leo full moon. Of course, it's your opposing sign, the sign opposite you, in your house of committed relationships, business or romantic or friendships or people that are close to you where you have mutually reciprocal, loving relationships. They have your back, you have their back. Now, during this full moon, because the sun is in your first house of identity, roles, your appearance, your self-image, how you want other people to see you, and your vitality, you could be experiencing either relationship themes, or you could be experiencing your own sense of, what do I want now? What does my heart want most? There could be relationships could be coming up for you, people in your life that you would put in this house based on my description a moment ago. You could be interacting with those people, and there could be some negotiating or renegotiating of agreements, spoken or unspoken. You could be deciding whether you are still meant to continue on to this next chapter with somebody, especially as we have in Aries energy, this new era just starting with Aries, and then Saturn also going into this new era. That is affecting each and every one of us. Now, that does make a really lovely sextile to your energy, but sextiles often require us to take some sort of action, like say, can we talk to a significant other, for example? And often when we do, then things get smoothed out because it's a sextile, and sextiles can bring tangible blessings, or, they can propel us forward for sure. But because this full moon in Leo is happening on an angle of your chart in the 7th house, the 1st, 7th, 4th, and 10th are all angles. And when we have a full moon, especially if it's very close to your descendant point in your chart, it would be the letters DC. When we have that, then often it brings in an issue having to do with career, or how we spend our time, or retirement if you're retired, or your home and family access to. It can be any of these themes can come up for you. So beautiful Aquarius, you will probably be in action during this full moon, because when we have an opposition like you're having, it is considered a more tense aspect, and that is when we are more likely to get into action. Maybe it's going to be a lovely emotional release for you. I know not all of you like a good cry. Aquarius, you are co-ruled by Uranus and Saturn. You are air. You are not water. Like I have so much water in my chart. I love a good cry. Not all Aquarians do, but you have all of the energies in your chart within you. We all do. We all have all 12 signs within us. So I don't want to make any generalizations whatsoever. But I want to say that this could be one where you need to go for a run, or you need to get out of the house and take a drive, or you need to do something, focus on something that's important to you and just be in your own energy. That could happen too. Okay, Aquarius, and watch part 1 of this video if you haven't already, because I do a deeper dive, and there's so many planets in your sign, Aquarius, for this full moon. There are 5 planets, including, of course, the sun is not a planet, it's a luminary, but there are 5 planetary energies in your energy during this full moon. So it really is, I talk all about your energy and how you may feel it in part 1. Aquarius, let's see what the cards have to say for you now that I'm done shuffling for you, Aquarius. Passion and pleasure, savor your life. You know what I love about this card, Aquarius? You know, you are known for community building. You are known for doing things with other people, not, you know, and I know you're a very independent sign, and there are nuances to all of the descriptions of every sign, of course. But in general, Aquarians are very connected to humanity and humanitarian values and community. And in this image, this person is dancing in community, right? It says, savor your life. They are not alone. Not that you don't probably enjoy your time alone, but in my view, this card is saying you might want to be in community around this full moon. You might want to do something that's just joyful, like dancing. I love dancing, sweating, prayers, those things. You may want to do something that's passionate and pleasureful to you. Go out to dinner with people, whatever. If you want to claim your passion and pleasure, beautiful Aquarius, in the comments below, let us know. I would love to hear. Capricorn, hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, you are going to be experiencing this Leo full moon in your 8th house of emotional attachments, power and control. This is the house of shared resources, time, money, and energy shared with close people, spouses, significant others, business partners, and so on, but also emotional and physical intimacy, debts, taxes, long-term savings, investments, relationships with banks and brokerage firms. You get the idea. It's both a partnership and a financial house. And it is the house of transformation, death, and rebirth. Why? Because these are all things that we are very attached to on a human level. We don't want to let them go. We don't want to see the stock market go down, most of us. We want to continue to see things grow and blossom and bloom, and same within our relationships and partnerships. And with a full moon here, and the fact that I speak about this in part 1 of this video, the fact that we have so much Aquarian energy going on, and I'm not going to repeat what I already said, so go back and watch that, but there is a likelihood that we could feel that some of what we have grown is fluctuating or changing. This is not financial advice. It is not a prediction. It is simply me relaying the astrology as I see it. Now, because this is a full moon, that means it's happening on the axis of 2 houses, the 2nd and the 8th house. The sun will be in your 2nd house, and this is the house of earned income, material security. Your values are the choices and decisions that you're making right now in your life. Are they aligned with your values? Self-worth and deserving, self-reliance. So in the 2nd house where the sun is shining, you could be making also some sort of decision about your own, any of those themes that I just mentioned. And so, you know, a lot of you will probably feel this full moon on a financial level, but you could also feel it in a relationship, especially if a relationship is shifting, or if you're splitting up assets or resources, or there's some negotiation going on, or something's going on with a partner or someone close to you in their financial life, for example. You get the idea. Lots of different ways this could be playing out, but this is definitely a full moon that we are meant to be having those conversations. Mercury and Venus are conjunct. There are several other things going on that I talk about in part one, but with Mercury and Venus conjunct and Venus being a sign that rules relationships, love, and money, this is a good time to be having conversations about money or any other of the themes, love, relationship themes, for sure, Capricorn. So full moons are endings, culminations, things coming full circle. You could feel like you're graduating from something. You could be paying off a loan. You could be, some of you could be moving in together where you've been committed, but you haven't lived together. Some of you could be buying something with a partner. You could be selling something that you own, selling a home, for example. Any of these things could be possible. Let us see what the cards have to say for you, Capricorn. One more shuffle here, and then we will get your message. Beautiful Capricorn. Your card is all is possible, choosing your path. Here's the image. When I look at this card, I see this person at a moment of choice. They're standing on the edge, so to speak, or they are looking out at a view. That's like when you hike and you come to a point of vista or view, and you stand in that place and you look and see. And there's something about surveying your life from a higher perspective, right? Looking down, for example, on your life, flying above your life, taking that sort of bird's eye or helicopter view, and how things come into perspective when we do that. I get that message here that you could be getting a new perspective on your life. You could be getting a new perspective on your path, on a choice or decision that you're about to make. And a truth about that, or some revelation, some new awareness could be bringing that to your understanding during this full moon. And the message from the divine is all is possible. If you had that mindset, Capricorn, if you had the mindset that anything is possible, then what might you say yes to? This card wants you to open up to other possibilities. It wants you to open up to, so often we're like, I could do this or this. I don't know what else I would do, right? Especially the older we get, the more we can be quote unquote set in our ways. We can say, well, I'm trained for this or that. I can't do anything else. We can really close off opportunities and possibilities with that mindset. And I think this card is saying, what if you had so much more available to you than you're even opening up to? What if all was possible? Then what would you say yes to, beautiful Capricorn? If what I'm sharing resonates and you want to share in the comments, I love hearing from you. I'd love to hear. Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius, beautiful Sag. You are will experience the Leo full moon, which makes a beautiful trine to your energy. Trines are the best aspect we can get there, ease and flow. You're going to experience this in your 9th house of expansion, Sag. In the 9th house, we are meant to see things with new eyes. We are meant to fly above our life and see with a new perspective. It's the house of new horizons. It's the house of long distance travel, learning new things, studying new things. Sometimes we start a degree program or we complete a degree program during a full moon. A lot of times a full moon is some sort of full circle moment, completion, quote unquote graduation moment. So that means something that you've been doing is wrapping up, or something you are awakening to. You could be on a quest. You could have been seeking something. You could have gone to another country, or you could have gone to a spiritual retreat, for example, and then that's wrapping up for you. It's not just higher learning and degree programs. It's also podcasting, broadcasting, teaching, publishing, sharing your philosophy or your truth or your enthusiasm with other people through some or, one of those modalities or others. Also justice, the law, seeking justice. Something could be wrapping up here that was involving lawyers as well. Now, because it's a full moon, those themes that I just mentioned are, of course, in play, but also across from the full moon is the sun, and the sun will be in your third house, and that brings in themes of your local neighborhood. That brings in themes of your mindset, your communication, writing, teaching, learning, networking, any conversations that you have with people, places that you go on a regular basis, meetups, networking, relationships with siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, also your vehicles, your devices. A lot of different things fall here, short trips. It's a movement house. I call it the house of moving and shaking. There's a movement with the third house. Or if you are a freelancer, if you have your own business, you could be buying or selling something. You could be doing transactions with within your business, but you could also be working on a website. You could be, starting a new website. You could be wrapping up a website, or any kind of way that you get the word out about your business or about your offerings. That could be part of your third and ninth house experience too. But big picture, this full moon wants expansion for you. It wants it wants to help you reignite your enthusiasm. And some of you could be shifting or ending a way that you used to believe. A lot of times when we change, when we go through a spiritual awakening, we realize that beliefs that we had, in order to allow ourselves to follow our heart or to follow our spirit or to do what our soul is calling us to, we have to let go of a belief system that was part of our conditioning. So a lot of you are going to experience this, of course, in very different ways, but let us see what the cards have to say for you. And I always love your comments. So if you want to share in the comments how you are experiencing it, if it's around that time, I'd love to hear. And I think a lot of us will feel this several days before the full moon. And I say why in part 1 of this video. Okay, Sag. Your card is keep going forward, ascending the mountain. This is a pep talk card. This is a real pep talk card. If you're tired, if you are afraid, if you are unsure, this is saying you are doing great. You are in an ascension process, and this could also be a metaphor for you are ascending in your consciousness. You are meeting your goal. You're getting towards your goal. You're not there yet, a lot of you, but this is saying keep going forward. Keep going forward. Sag, does this help, this little pep talk? I hope it does. If you want to share in the comments, I would love to hear. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you are going to experience this full moon in your 10th house of career, legacy, profession, or your vocation, your passion, your purpose, your life purpose expressed, where you're looking for your purpose maybe. It's how you spend your time. It's what you want to do with your one wild and precious life, as Mary Oliver so eloquently writes. So the question is, a lot of times when I'm doing astrology readings or coaching sessions with clients, they don't know what is next for them. All they know is that they want to leave where they are now in their particular career or whatever. Or some of you may want to retire or semi-retire and do something else. So I want to acknowledge that it doesn't necessarily mean that you know what's going on in this area of your life, but it could mean that you are done. You are just so done, like energetically, emotionally, mentally. You could be like, I'm so done. I don't want to keep doing this anymore. And because this full moon in Leo makes a square to your energy, Scorpio, you could feel it more intensely. And you could also be feeling this in your 4th house of home and family. Why? Because the sun is in the 4th house, it's opposing the moon, and we can feel it on either end of this axis of the chart. So home, family, childhood conditioning, ancestral healing, your relationship with your mother, your own relationship with your inner child. You could be moving, you could be changing where you live, you could be changing your career, you could be changing both. And, I just want to say that this full moon is probably going to activate you to take some sort of action, because that's what happens when we have a square, and that's what you will be experiencing during this full moon if it is close to any of your planets are points in your sign. I talk about where it's happening and the degree points and all of that in part 1 of this video for everyone. So Scorpio, all the fixed signs, I really hope that you watch part 1 because that is the, the deeper dive that gives you the information you really need to understand how this full moon may affect you personally. Okay, so Scorpio, let me pull a card for you because it's a full moon. It's often an ending, completion, or a manifestation. Like some of you could be moving into a new home. Some of you could be moving out. Some of you could be leaving a job or selling a business or starting to retire. You could be making a big move during this full moon as well. So I know it's going to be different for all of you, and endings always open a door for a new beginning, a fresh start. So let's see what the cards have to say for you. Beautiful. Scorpio. My youngest daughter has a Scorpio moon. Yes, I love Scorpio energy. Not that I don't love all the signs, but I did get a comment, I don't know, a video or two back saying, you never seem excited when you talk to Scorpios. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I love Scorpio energy and I love all the signs because sometimes people take it really personally. And believe me, it's not personal. It's not personal. But anyway, that was the digression, Scorpio. Let's see what your card is. It says, you are cherished by the angels. I love this. Just as I'm talking about how you are loved and I love you, it says, you are cherished by the angels. So perfect, protected, regardless of what's going on in your life. You are protected by angels, beautiful Scorpio. You are protected. Talk to your angels, talk to your guides. This is something that I try to remember to do when I'm going to sleep at night. Like ask in those intimate moments of just you, between you and spirit, between you and your guides. Those are the moments to say, let me feel you more. Talk to me more. Show me, give me a sign. Show me you're with me. If you feel a need for more, sensations in your body or in your life that you are cherished, you deserve to feel cherished, Scorpio. Some of you need to hear that. You deserve to feel cherished. And I'm going to tell you right now, Scorpio, I cherish you. How does that feel to you? Like, I love hearing those words. I tell my inner child, I cherish you. We all deserve to feel cherished. You feel the Leo energy coming through me. I feel it. I'm feeling it. It's passion. And Scorpio, you're a passionate energy. I love your passion. It's one of the things I love most about Scorpio energy. You are passionate. And most of us who are passionate people, we want to feel cherished. If you want to claim that you are cherished by your angels or anything else you want to share in the comments, Scorpio, I would love to hear. Libra, hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, you are going to experience or are experiencing the full moon in Leo, which makes a lovely sextile to your energy. That is positive ease and flow. I'll speak more about it in a moment. You're going to get this lovely harmonious energy to your rising sign in the 11th house. Now, the 11th house asks you, this is like I speak about in part 1 of this video, this full moon, because it's a full moon, it's an ending, completion, manifestation moment, something closing out, something coming full circle, a shift, maybe going into a new chapter of your life, perhaps closing out a project, starting a new one. The themes that will come up for you, if this is happening in your 11th house, and for Libra risings it's asking you, what is your current dream? What would bring you fulfillment? It's the house of friends, supporters. It's a house where we want to feel like people have our back. We have a community, or we have people in our life that support us. It is in the tarot, the world card. The world is your oyster. It's a completion card, the world card. It's saying something is a chapter or a cycle has completed and now you're starting a new cycle or a new chapter. Also branding and promotion, social media platforms, anything that you are now like newly perhaps sharing with other people, or maybe you've been doing it for a while, but you are rebranding or you are starting a new social media platform. But the 11th house and long-term financial gains fall here too. But the 11th house is always about, lately anyway, I've been seeing an image of a telescope when I think of the 11th house. And it reminds me of looking at the telescope and going, what do I want now? Where do I want to go? The world is your oyster. What do you want? It's not all, of course, about long distance travel and all of that. That is the ninth house technically. But my point is that it's kind of soul searching in a way. If you're starting a new chapter, it's kind of, have you ever taken one of those globes and spun it and put your finger on it with your eyes closed and see where it lands? I feel intuitively that some of you are seeking a new place or seeking what would bring you love or romance or friendship or community. It's the house of community. Also online communities and online dating. I feel that some of you are asking, where is your tribe? Where's my community? So if any of those things resonate, I always love hearing from you guys, but also remember that because this is a full moon and it happens on the axis of the 11th and 12th, all full moons do. Because of that, the sun is in the 5th house of love, romance, children, and creative expression. Those themes could come up for you as well. You could be putting something out into the world. You could be meeting somebody through online dating apps or platforms. I don't know. I haven't done that in so long. I can't remember. I know. Is it all about the apps now? I think there's both. But anyway, you get the idea. Some of you could be having like a child graduate, or you could be going through an empty nest. I know that's a hard transition. I totally feel for you if you're going through that, but something could be shifting in that way that you feel like something's advancing or your child's advancing, or maybe your relationship's advancing, or maybe you've been on online dating apps and you're like, I'm getting off of these. I never want to do this again, or I'm not doing it for a while, whatever. That's a full moon. Full moons are often when we are like done with something, or we're just, having a really good cry. Okay, Libra. What is it for you? Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear. I'm going to now pull a card for you and we will see what the cards have to say. I always get a little silly when I get towards the end, Libra. Thank you for your grace, Libra. Okay, your card is embracing enthusiasm, shout to the heavens with happiness. I love, 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 love this card. Oh, and I was going to tell you more about the sextile. With the sextile, we have to take some initiative to get the result that we want. You have to ask for what you want, or make that call, or receive that message, or do that journaling. There's something that you're solving or wanting to create, or there's some outcome you want, and you have to take some action, and then the universe will meet you halfway. So, embracing enthusiasm, this card has butterflies coming out of her mouth, which represent transformation. And as she speaks her words, they transform her and or others. Some of you have a message you want to share with the world. Some of you have something that you wanted to put out on social media, for example, the 11th house. Some of you are writing or speaking or sharing through a podcast or YouTube videos or something, or teaching groups. There's something that you are doing that you're doing with such enthusiasm that it's transforming you and others as well. Shout to the heavens with happiness. Some of you are getting good news during this full moon that you are going to just be over the moon about. Beautiful Libra, over the moon. If you want to claim your happiness and feeling over the moon, that phrase is coming through. I love that. Let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Virgo. Beautiful Virgo, you are the sign that in the comments most request me singing your sign. So there you go. Beautiful Virgo, you are going to experience this full moon in your 12th house. The 12th house is not of this world. The 12th house is the ethereal realms. It is the subconscious mind. It's our dreams at night. It is astral travel. The 12th house is our psychic abilities. It is channeling and divine downloads and magic and synchronistic moments and signs, and where we can transform our inner narrative into something more positive and allow ourselves to attract into our lives what we want. We can release self-doubt. We can have more karmic, quote unquote, karmic relationships come up during, or karmic clearing or karmic completion come up during a full moon in our 12th house. So that means you could meet up with people, or you could have conversations with people, or you could realize that a particular relationship is over for you, that there's no juice there anymore. There's no somebody who maybe calls you all the time and you're just like, I don't want to talk to that person anymore. You know, those kinds of things can happen during a full moon in the 12th house. You could find your own psychic abilities really lit up during this full moon, or you could feel like things are really changing. You could get a third eye awakening. I've been feeling a lot of third eye activation lately. If you do any kind of Reiki practice or anything else, meditation, notice you might start to feel in your physical body that something is really getting activated. I've been feeling this a lot here, and I think a lot of us, because we are in this portal, this eclipse portal, 6 weeks before, 6 weeks after. This full moon is 2 weeks before the first actual eclipse, so we're very much in the portal. The veil is thin between the two worlds. You could really be feeling this during this full moon. And I also want to say that because full moons always happen on the axis of the opposing signs, that is the 6th house where the sun is for you, and you could be feeling this in your health. You could be feeling it in your workplace, in your daily work routines or habits or scheduling, your lifestyle, something to do with a pet. You could be having realizations regarding a habit or regarding your work, or, you know, do I still want to do this job? You could really be getting a revelation or an illumination here too, about something in your daily life that has to end, that has to go, that you have to shift. We are being pulled in a new direction, a lot of us. That is part of this Neptune and Aries, Saturn soon to join, Saturn and Neptune joining up. All these things are happening at the same time. So they're all around the same time. They're all part of the same soup. We are swimming in the same with all these planets, right? Even though we do separate videos for these different things, they're all happening. And that's why I like to talk about them when they're close in time, which I did in part 1 of this video. I also have a separate video for you on that transit. So beautiful, Virgo. What is it for you? Leave me a comment if you want to share. And I am now going to pull a card for you. And Virgo, I want to thank you. I haven't done this for every sign, but I would like to do it for you just because it's coming up for me. You know, I have a lot of strong Virgo in my chart. I have my North Node in Virgo. I have my 4th house cusp. My IC is in Virgo. And my Pluto. I have 3 of my placements in Virgo. I'm very Virgoan. Have you noticed? I can be so detail oriented, and you know, I edit all my videos. Takes way too much time, but I'm only saying that to let you know how much I appreciate you. I really appreciate you, and I really thank you, those of you who have subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, will you please subscribe, because it really makes a difference in the growth of my channel, and it allows me to do these videos for you. Anyway, Virgo, I want to pull your card now. So Spirit, please direct my energy towards all these beautiful Virgo people. What card do we have for you, Virgo? Virgo, your card is success is expanding in your life. The gates of triumph are opening up for you. I love this card. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck, especially because it acknowledges that you have been through a hard time. Pisces, Neptune and Saturn and Pisces for so long opposed your energy. The oppositions are some of the hardest transits we can ever go through. I want to acknowledge that. You have been through it, and now you are coming through into fresh new territory where the light is shining. There's a new path awaiting you. It's fresh, it's green, it's full of light. You are out of the hard stuff here, beautiful Virgo. If you want to claim your success in the comments below, I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your time and energy with me for this Leo full moon. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for giving it a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with friends or family. Thank you for your comments. I love hearing from you, and for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't yet subscribed, when you subscribe, you make a huge difference, which will allow me to be able to keep doing these videos for you. And I so appreciate your help and support. If you would like to do an astrology reading with me, I would love to meet you on Zoom. You have a choice of many offerings. For all of them, I will look at the transits that are coming up for you, or during my 2026 year ahead readings, I do all the transits of the year. Regardless, we will definitely go over the eclipses that are happening in February and early March, as well as talking about your natal chart, your strengths, your gifts, your challenges, and any questions that you have. I am also an intuitive life coach, so if you would like some coaching along with the astrology, you might want to book the 90-minute astrology reading. It gives us some extra time. Or if you don't need astrology support right now, you can book a clarity coaching session with me on my coaching page. The links to both my astrology and my coaching pages are in the description box below. So check them out. They will take you to my website. It's easy to book on my site, and it will be my absolute joy to connect with you on Zoom. I have a free gift for you, and that free gift is a soothing guided meditation to connect you to your unconditionally loving spiritual guidance. If you would like to receive that meditation, go to my website, subscribe to my weekly inspirational astrology updates, and you'll get that free instant download at the same time. My beautiful friend, let me know how you are feeling about this Leo full moon, any insights you want to share. And until my next video, I'm sending you all my love.